Hi Vogue, this is Carla Bruni, and today I'll be looking through my life in looks. All right. This must have been one of the first shows I did for Chanel. And I've been working with Carl basically until he left us last year. And the funny thing about Carl is that he was always so late that somehow I'm actually wondering if he's really passed away or maybe if he's just late and he might arrive. Fashion was always going back to sources that would be a few decades earlier. The hair and the makeup and also the look of the outfit, still from the 80s, I would say. Voila. Here's Gianni, Versace, Naomi, Campbell, and myself. I'm wearing a cat suit, a very sort of splendid, gorgeous, printed cat suit. And Naomi is wearing, I guess, the same type of print that I'm wearing, but she is wearing a dress. Versace's style was extremely audacious, you know? It was not about being classic, it was about being strong, sexy, and even a little transgressive. This picture almost makes me sad. Thinking that Gianni is gone is still a shock. He was like a sort of a, you know, lovely father to us. Oh my God, here I am as a bride at Givenchy. It's a pleasure always to be the bride in a show. I don't know if they still do that today, but at the time it was a pleasure because it was like the clothes, you know, the sort of the cherry on the cake. And then, you know, everyone wants to be dressed as a bride once in a while. I would look like an Easter egg if I was wearing this now, you know. Now, it's too late. But at the time it was sort of fresh and romantic, right? Hubert de Givenchy was such an incredible designer, but also such a gentleman. It was such a pleasure to be one of his girls, you know. Next look. So here it's me with Miuccia Prada, obviously at a fitting. I always loved her brand. I like what she does. I like what she creates. She's a very delicate, laid-back person. When I was modeling, we were doing hours of fittings for each designer. You get to see the clothes very early, and also you see how much work there is to make something, you know, happen and to make something become a dress or a suit or a coat. I like this picture, you know, there's a rays of sun. Both Miuccia and me are very young. Nice. Well, this is Versace again. This is Versace Couture, just after the show at the Hotel Ritz. I think there was a dinner after this show. I remember that dress. But we used to do maybe 20 shows per season and per country. So at the end of it, 4 times a year, there was no medium shows, but there was couture shows also. Oh my God, a lot of work. Fashion Week was crazy. It was eclectic. We would run all the time, sleep very little, eat very little, always running in a car from a show to another. You know, it was so much fun, but so much work. This is 1986, promoting Kodak shooting in London. And the dress actually has something particular, you know, it has pictures all over it of myself. Isn't this embarrassing? Would you wear a dress with pictures of yourself on? And this is so funny, really. I wonder where this dress is, and maybe we can get it back. Not really to wear it, but just to have it. Also, it makes me think that we used to work argentique. You couldn't retouch it very easily, so you had to do a very good light. Everything was about the hair and the makeup and the light. And so we couldn't go back in a computer and fix it. The pictures was what it was. And that was the nice part about it, because the creative process was always going towards as much perfection as we could, because then that was it. We couldn't do much, you know, retouches were very hard to do. Okay, so this is not a look, it's a t-shirt. This is the cover of my first album. I was actually wearing, yes, a t-shirt and jeans, I would say. But of course, this picture is from Kate Barry, very talented French photographer. This picture is about simplicity. There's almost no makeup, no hair. I'm laying down with my guitar. There's something very pure and simple about the picture, right? I made this picture for my album as far as I could from sophisticated world, because I wanted to give another message, which was, this is all gonna be about the music. You know, I had such a strong image coming from modeling, that I had to try to cut it off, you know, and to show something of myself that had nothing to do with makeup and with being glamorous, you know. This is not a glamorous picture, but I think he helped the album to make people understand that I was a songwriter and not a model anymore. This is the Winter Olympic Games 2006 in Torino, which is the city I was born. I was so honored when they asked me to hold the flag. And I'm wearing a dress designed by Armani, and I had to cross the whole stadium. It was freezing cold. And this is a dress entirely made of glass and metal, you know. So it's like a sort of material that the knives would wear in the Middle Age, you know what I mean? The sort of, it's all made of metal, you know, there's something very metal. It was very heavy, and under this dress I was wearing like pants and shirt because it was so cold. It was the Winter Olympic Games and it was outside, but so cold. So I was actually happy to wear such a heavy dress and to be able to wear proper wool, you know, mountain underwear. All right, so this is Michelle Obama and myself. I think we're in Strasbourg. She's one of the nicest person I've met, you know, in that time, in that world. She's a very warm person, very kind, and very bright. She did something adorable during that trip. She came from America, so, you know, the usage is to give a present to the other First Lady. And so she offered me a guitar, a Gibson guitar. So that was the best present, you know, because no one would actually think of me playing guitar when I was at the Élysée Palace because, you know, everybody sees you only like a First Lady, as if you did nothing before, right? So when I got a guitar as a present, I took it as a sign, you know. Such a cool thing to do.
When you became First Lady, how did your style have to change?
Well, you know, I throw all the latex away. No, I'm just kidding. All my hot pants, you know, off. When I married my husband, of course, it was about also honoring France, you know, with the style. I choose to wear only French designers, not only to promote, you know, French fashion that doesn't really need it, but because it gave pride, you know, to French people to have such a high standard of quality and of savoir-faire. Oh, what a look. So this is a video clip from Jean-Baptiste Mondino, and it's a song that I made a cover of in this album I made with David Foster. So it's a Rolling Stones song called Miss You. And this was the video that I made with Jean-Baptiste. It looks very dark, but it's actually a very sensual video that has sort of slow motion in it. The look was a catsuit, a very simple black catsuit. The video was made by myself and a double of myself. It's quite an interesting video. It's a very interesting video. Very simple, but sexy and sort of slow motion. Okay, this is September 2017, the Gianni Versace's tribute show. Some of the girls I get to see often, you know, I never lost touch with Naomi and Helena Christensen. Sometimes I send message to Cindy, but I hadn't seen Claudia for about 5 years or 6 years. And just before this show, we met on a beach on Corsica. So I'm seeing this girl on the beach. And I'm like, this is Claudia. So I went to see her and she said to me, I mean, we almost said at the same time, are you doing the Versace? It was fantastic, you know. I'm so happy that Donatella had that idea. It was so moving for us and so emotional, really. And this dress was a dress very similar to the one I wore 25 or 30 years before. It was that dress, but short. 2019, this is the Cannes Film Festival, and this is a dress by my friend Heidi Sliman for Celine. I like the color of the dress. I like that sort of navy blue. Red carpet are a very special moment. I don't do it often. When I do it, I think it's quite good fun. This looks quite sober, I would say, compared to some of the looks you get to see in the Cannes Film Festival, which is the tradition, you know, so it's great, it's glamorous. You know, the only thing I wouldn't do on a red carpet is wearing a red dress. But no one ever does that. Otherwise you disappear, right? Yeah, I do like 80s work, I must say, since the beginning. I liked it even when he was designing clothing for men. I would wear his costume that he designed a few years ago for Christian Dior men. They were very, very narrow anyway. A girl could wear them. I like the woman that he projects, this sort of eternal young adolescent woman, very natural. So this is my house. Now this is the cover of my last album that has no title, it only has my name. Yann Ormond and myself did the pictures sitting outside my house, wearing Celine jeans and my guitar. We just wanted to give a very timeless feeling with this album cover. When I'm in my real life, I'm basically always very unsophisticated. So, when I think of my music, I always think of unsophisticated image. I believe it's not so easy to be simple, I believe it's complicated to make a simple image. Vogue, thank you so much. I hope you've enjoyed my life and looks, and see you soon.